Oh dear. Hello guys, today I'm going to be talking about a simple complicated topic. Topic is life a zero-sum game? Is life a zero-sum game? But before I do that, I need to just clean up here because I can't be talking to you with all this mess around here, okay? So is life a zero-sum game? I've got a list of what I want to talk about. I think most of you are familiar with the term, with the phrase, you reap what you sow. So if you, by that statement, just with that statement, we can really conclude life is a zero-sum game. Because, I mean, if you're getting back just what you put in, then where's the value creation in that? And I think, let me first explain what a zero-sum game is before we get into this thing. A zero-sum game is basically like gambling. Like if I put 10 Rand on the line or $10, whatever you prefer, and you put the same amount on the line and we throw a dice, and whoever gets the 6 first takes all the money. That's a zero-sum game, because at the end of the day, the amount we created no value. The total value between us is still $20. That's a zero-sum game, which is different from if I take, for example, gold from the ground and then make a ring out of it, because I've added, the ring is obviously worth more than the original gold on its own. So that's value creation. So if life is a zero-sum game, it means then that at the start, if you sum up all the good positive things you've done from the day you were born until you die, and things you've lost and so on, the sum is zero. So you did zeros and others. Now I know, of course, we can really argue this thing because we leave things for our children to inherit, or sometimes whether it's debt or whether it's assets, and so maybe it's not a zero-sum game. But that's if we talk materialistic things. I'd like to, when I say a zero-sum game, I'm referring to a bit more figurative than that and more metaphorical than that, in the sense of because I think ultimately what we mostly want is happiness. That's why we want to get all this money, because of happiness. We want to end poverty because it will make us happier, or make more people happier. We want to eradicate malaria and all these things because it will make us and other people happier, and that's what we want. So in essence, then, if you sum up not material things but more like your happy days, your sad days, your happy moments, your sad moments, by the time you die, does it all sum up to zero? Or is there a net gain? I think it's kind of probably a zero-sum game, because just generally there's examples that I've looked at and I'm like, this thing is a zero-sum game. This thing, we are handed at the start of life a set of good and a set of bad, and they are equal. You just have to keep cashing in until if all the good runs up, then you just keep going down after that. And I think that's my examples are you've seen these brilliant musicians who've done amazing things, and then all of a sudden they reach this point and then everything just tumbles down. All of a sudden they're addicted, they're on drugs they can't get off, and all of a sudden they're in therapy, or you have this whole dark side of them that comes out after all this good they've done, where it's they were raping small children, or they were doing these bad things, or they were on drugs, or they were doing whatever. But is it a zero-sum game? Because we were looking at, because you'll have these people, you look at you they're amazing, and then in the end you're no. Or in the end, if they are on the good side, but initially you look back and then you're but look where they started. And so that's what I'm thinking, is life a zero-sum game? I mean, look at Nelson Mandela. He did amazing things. Nobel Peace Prize winner, solved apartheid in South Africa. I mean, he's given us a lot of peace. But a man, he had to sacrifice 27 years. That's not all that he had to sacrifice, but part, because 27 years, do you know how much you can do in 27? Tupac's life fits in 27 years. So everything Tupac did fits in 27 years. So Nelson Mandela had to sacrifice all that. Yet him and other people, and a lot of people had to sacrifice for the little good, I don't know if I should call it little or a lot, that we see today, in South Africa we have the freedom to do this and that and all that other things. So is this thing a zero-sum game? Could Nelson Mandela have achieved that thing without having given up that much? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's quite necessary. Like, I think in this world, it's like the reap what you sow. You've got to suffer. You've got to suffer to get. I mean, look at students. To get a good job, and do all these things, you have to suffer sleepless nights. You have to get stressed. You have to risk your mental health, risk your well-being, only because you want to ensure that in the future you're going to be happy. Which is kind of odd, because then it's almost like, because it works like this. If you assume that, no, I don't want to go through all that struggles, and so you chill, you relax now when you are young, 20, when you're supposed to go to university, then it kind of like, the assumption from like generally is that you are gonna have a mediocre life, which means you're not too happy, but you're also quite sad also. So it nets to zero. But then, I mean, then the difference between these two is just the student who goes to university goes down, side risk, goes very sad, then comes back up again, and now he's happy on the second part of his life. Whereas the other student just chose to go through the straight road. And when you average these two, you just get the same damn thing. So, what is this thing? Is this thing a zero-sum game? I mean, even Jesus had to have an up and down. I mean, wow. Even Jesus said, that he had to go through. Yeah, it was nice. He taught the Pharisees. He did that. He solved it. He gave miracles. He gave incredible answers. And then he had to go through all this trauma, this beating. And then now, if you average it, zero-sum game. Long-term capital management. If you want an example in finance, these folks made money, and then boom, they lost it all. You have these criminals who steal. They become so successful. They have a lot of money, and then all of a sudden they get caught on one crime or something, and then boom, they get it, or they get shot and killed by some other criminal or something like that, and then they end up with this. They die horribly. Zero-sum game. So I think this thing is a zero-sum game. What do you think? I don't know, tell me. Do you have a counter argument? Do you have a reason for me to please help me? I'd like to think that life isn't a zero-sum game. I would hope and want it to not be a zero-sum game, because I want a lot of good things in the future. And if it's a zero-sum game, that means that would imply that I'm going to have to either suffer quite a bit roundabout now-ish in order to get that good. So that's not a very nice thought to sit with. What do you think? Is life a zero-sum game? Thoughts in the comments. Please join my mailing list. I've got a link down below. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and do what you want to do. It is a zero-sum game after all.